Good morning, everybody. Just posted the persistent variable list video, and if you're using a standard PLC on how to use that, and then now this one's going to be about the persistent variables using the modules. And I went ahead and just removed the persistent variable list that I had there before, just so we can kind of keep the project kind of clean. It's same one we got. If you're on a fresh install, you probably will not have this tab down here that says modules. And how you would go about getting that tab is you would just go up here to the view section and then you would click on modules. Uh, when you're in the modules tab, you have a composer menu that comes up where we can generate, build, login. I particularly don't care for this. If we want to add a library project, we will be doing this here in just a moment. And then there's also a little quick menu toolbar up here. So right now, if we click here, we need to add something in here, like a regular project tree, but we don't have anything available to us yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a module library to the project. And what we want is AC persistence, this one right here. And we're going to click OK. And then we can come back and we can add top level. And now we have a persistence manager. We can add that module there. Then we can double click on there and add persistence channel. So this subsection here, we can actually add another one and we can rename it, but I'll go over that. But I just leave it as default right now. But if you want to separate yours into a bunch of different text lists, because as I explained before in the other video, on a standard PLC and even the IPCs, if you use that other list, it waits for a command shutdown and it saves it to a certain section of the memory on the PC. So this is just going to save everything to a text list. And you can edit the text list and set the parameters up. And if you wanted to change something in the PLC via the persistent variable list, you wouldn't even have to log into the PLC. So it's kind of a really useful and powerful tool and makes things a lot easier, in my opinion. Uh, then we're just going to do a file storage, pick whichever one you want. Just do the ASCII. And if we double check on this, now we have our persistence channel. And if you created more of them, those lists would be here as well. And then over here to parameters, this is where we can set up if you periodic saving. If you want to save it every 1 hour, you can. Uh, I don't do this. I set mine to 0, and this pretty much turns it off. And I like to save on change. So as soon as you change something, it writes it to the text list and changes it. Then this read variables during initialization. So as soon as the PLC goes to start up, we want to read them again. So that way, when if you change something, if the PLC or the operator, if you change something or you're saving a certain value in your list, it's going to immediately write it to that text list. And so the next time that the PLC powers back up, if like you lose power, the battery backup dies on you, the IPC just somebody hits the wrong circuit breaker in a panel, whatever it may be, as soon as it boots up, you're not going to lose any of that information. And then I just leave it like this. You can, this is really, nothing. I mean, you can tie in a lot of other stuff. I don't even mess with this. And I'm just going to go ahead and click save on our project. And right now, what we should do is go ahead and generate. So that way this side of the project can see everything and it kind of loads in our parameters. It's like the build and compile for the other side of the devices in the POUs. So then I'm going to come over here to devices, and you can see that when we added that library and persistence channel, it's added in some file folders and created some tasks to be able to handle that. I just leave these as all default. I don't touch them. I do not mess with them at all. And then I do a quick build, and this error right here is expected right now. And I'll tell you why. Because to get this thing started, we don't have any code in here. And what we need to do is create a persistent variable list, but we're not going to use the same one as what we did in the previous video. We're going to click here, we're going to add object, and then we're going to add another global variable list. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to rename this um, PersVars. And I'm just going to click add. And then we're going to get rid of this attribute qualified only because we're going to have to use a specific attribute to do this. And that is, I have it saved on a list over here, and I will put it in the video description for you as well. And that is this value right here. And remember when I said, you could create multiple different lists and things? This is where if you had a persistence channel or list that was named different, this is where you would change that. So this list right here needs to match this here. So if you had one that said like last save positions, like position save, you would put, you know, POS saved. And that's how you would need to do that. And then on this list, anytime that there's a variable here, so let's just call this, let's keep it the same as the last video. Option 1, it's a Boolean value. And oh, so now this value right here, it will be saved. If it's through a download or you power it off or you lose power or anything like that. And now we're going to try to compile again, and we should generate another error, the same one. And we got the same one that says there are no variables persisted by a channel. This is a little misleading, to be honest with you. So what we can do is we can come here, and it really wants you to use it in the code first. So I'm just going to come here, and we are going to put this in line. And so let's just go ahead and give it a use. And then we have our start command and our other variable list. And then we have our running, motor running. There we go. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I know this is not going to work right now. So here, we'll just go ahead and make this to where it will work. How's that? So we're going to go ahead and compile now. And now we have no errors. We have no nothing. But we need to go back to our modules list, our persistent variables. And as you can see, they loaded up here. Now, sometimes what happens when we do this is whenever you add a library, like I have multiple installs. And so what we can do is I can try to create the error, but sometimes it will try to do an exception and then the program will want to close. So I'm going to save the project to avoid that. And I'm going to close this. And then we are going to reopen it and see if all of the libraries need to open up. Because if you've created a couple of different um, installations in your on your PC, different service packs, different things like that. Sometimes, depending upon which one is your default and what you like to use, the compilers and libraries could load into the project differently. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and close this, and then I am going to reopen it back up. And sometimes this happens after you add a new library. Ah, here we go. So see here, This is exactly what I was talking about. So if I would have clicked the refresh button, we would have got an exception error and this thing would have closed. So I always have this check for updates when loading. I have a bunch of different installs, so you may run into this, you may not run into this, and some of those modules require different uh, versions of the libraries. So just set all the newest. We're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna click OK. We're gonna click OK, and so now you can see that it kind of changed this, and now we are going to generate, and we're gonna build. So now if we click here and then we click refresh, now our option 1 is available. So now anytime that you are editing your list, your persistent variable list, if you add another one, so if we needed to add another one here, let's just go ahead and do that now. Let's say we wanted to save an integer value. Um, so we would need to compile that so that way it is in here, and then we would come back to the persistent list, and then we would say refresh, and then now our option is saved here. So the first variable, what happened was is it kind of needs to get it started, and after that you can always do this. So the only thing you got to remember is after you put a variable in here or change a variable in here, like let's say you had a group of arrays and you changed the array size, you would need to come back in here and select this. After you compile, you would need to come back here, so select your channel that it's on and click refresh, so that way it reloads the variables. And other than that, that is about it. And I'm gonna try to get some possibly a visualization video out today as well. I've got a little bit of time, so I'll be home all day working on some of these videos. So if you like the video, please like, and if not, that's okay too. If you want to leave a comment, go to the website, ask for more content, you want to reach out, I'm available all day. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.